Before we start this exciting episode, I want to request you to subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends. Namaste. I'm delighted to be here in Mumbai with Shri Vallabh Bhanshali.
Namaste ji.
Thank you for inviting me to this wonderful place. He's no stranger to my audience. I have interviewed him once before. That was a very big hit with everybody. Everybody loved it. So at his invitation, I'm here in Mumbai to visit the pagoda. He's the principal person who's put it all together. We'll understand its history a little bit. This is an amazing monument. I just feel the presence here. It's a large scale place. I never imagined something on this scale of beauty and structure until I physically came here. So we had a nice conversation in the car about the implication of all these kinds of things in today's world. The program we have is 3 parts. First, we'll have a conversation where I request him to introduce what this is, why it was built, who built it, what's the purpose, so everybody has a introductory level understanding. A second part, we'll do a tour. He'll give me a tour of the place. And then the third part, we'll sit under a very important tree. You'll understand why it's important. And we'll talk about what we've learned, what it means, what's our message to you, what are the issues and questions that we should all be introspecting. So wonderful to be back with you. My request is if you could tell our audience what this place is all about and why it exists, how you put it together.
Thank you, Dr. Saab, for accepting our invitation and being here. You are an extraordinary person and a great bridge between the ancient and the important and the current world. This place is a very, very special place and it's a milestone in the extraordinary life of Vipassana Acharya and my teacher, Acharya Goenka ji, Satyanarayan ji Goenka, who had conceived of this amazing project. And he is the man, and we believe that he was the only man capable of building a monument of this scale, beauty and importance. So Guruji, as we call him, came here in 1969 and set the ball rolling for Vipassana to become available to the world again. All as he moved along, he recognized that Buddha had a testament, and where he said that after I'm cremated, my body will convert into various parts, and some of the parts he suggested that be collected. And he said that if these parts, the relics, we call it dhatu, if dhatu were placed in a particular manner as he directed, the vibration of that dhatu will benefit the meditators immensely and also create an environment around it. When Ashok, the great king Ashok, came to know about this, he collected it from various places.
A few centuries after Buddha.
Yeah.
So he had to do quite
that's
a
right,
lot of
about
work.
2.5 centuries after Buddha, and so 150 years after Buddha. So he went around, he was a great king, so he collected it all. And then as he built, we believe 84,000 meditation centers. And he divided it all in these parts. And he also sent some of it to the neighboring countries when he started spreading the message of Buddha to these countries. But as we know that 5 or 6 centuries after Gautama the Buddha, his teaching somehow got uprooted from India. And along with that, the tradition of building new pagodas and so on. And a lot of those dhatu or relics, they got stolen, they got lost. And from time to time, particularly in the British time, they started excavating it, and some went away abroad and some was stored in India. So Guruji's vision was that, after all, this was the greatest human being mankind has known, and he wrote a testament about his own relics.
The greatest inner scientist.
Inner scientist.
Yes.
And as you saw the statue here of Buddha, He is described there as a great man
Yes.
and a great scientist of the spiritual world. So anyway, so I think it was his deep desire that the relics should be respected and they should benefit the world. It is not an artifact like many others that we have in the museum. So he went about trying to gather that, but he said, you know, we must build a pagoda the way it was described in the text.
Right.
So he could have built a smaller pagoda, but he said, this is such a big achievement for human race, or you know, the humanity, that Vipassana has now become available in his own lifetime.
Right.
He saw a multitude of people benefit immensely. So he said, I must build a monument which is commensurate to the boon that Vipassana is to the world.
Very
so
good.
he combined all these things, and then the other objective he put in is that this wonderful method of Vipassana was preserved by Myanmar or Burma, as it was called until a few years ago. And so he said that why not we decorate this in the Burmese tradition? Why not we build the pagoda in the same manner as the world famous Shwedagon in Yangon?
And that's a place I have to go to.
Yeah, you must go
I
to.
have to go,
It's
yes.
an experience.
Yes.
It's an absolute experience. So what he did, he combined a lot of these things and built a monument which in external appearance is the same as Shwedagon, but internally, that's a solid pagoda. This is a hollow dome. This is the largest hollow dome, stone dome made in the world.
This is the largest stone hollow dome in the world.
In the world.
Wow. So that's pretty impressive. And where did so much stone come from?
So this came from Rajasthan, and we had thousands of trucks. So it's a huge number of, we got something like 2.5 million tons of stone.
Wow.
Now,
So
if you
quite
can
a, this is a
conceive
monument.
that.
This is historical monument.
Yeah.
And when was it completed?
So this was conceived in 1997, and earlier it was not to be a stone dome, but Guruji visualized that this should last hundreds of years, and probably at least 2,500 years. That would be great. So he said, only stone, only material that can last that long is the stone structure.
Yes.
And so we had a big challenge that nothing of this scale has been built in the world for a long, long period of time. So we had to combine modern science and ancient science. So we identified temple builders who had some modern temperament and who could work with the scientists of Indian Institute of Technology, the world famous IIT at Mumbai. And we got a top construction company, Larsen Toubro. All of them looked at the structural strength, challenges, etc. So we had to redo the foundation when we changed from steel concrete to stone dome, but we did that.
Wow. So how many feet is, can you explain to our viewers the symbolism of the architecture?
Sure. So as I said, that in external appearance it is the same as Shwedagon, but internally it's a hollow dome, and 10,000 people can sit at one time in a pillarless dome.
10,000 people in a dome made of stone with no pillars to support.
So
That's something.
That's something, and
yes.
that is like doing a goodwill message to the whole world. More importantly, if you look at the external appearance, this structure, the pagoda, has 8 gates, which is like Buddha taught the 8-step mark, the 8-step path
Yes.
to liberation.
Yes.
So the 8 gates represent that. That how you navigate the world is, you know, being aware of these 8. As you go up, you see those 3 steps, which is Shil, Samadhi, Panya, which is actually that how you start a moral conduct, which is Shila. Samadhi, you learn to concentrate and learn to still your mind, without which you can't understand the truth. And then the third is Panya, which is really the insight and the wisdom. And then as you go up, you see an inverted bowl.
Yes.
That once you start developing this wisdom, the world has no meaning for you. So you live in the world, but kind of in a rejected manner. As you go further, you see those 7 rings.
Yes.
Those rings are 7 stages of enlightenment. So they are called Bojang. And I won't get into technical details, but starting from being aware to ultimate understanding. So those are the 7 rings. And then you have lotus buds, which end up in being a lotus, and then you have this very thin dome at the top, and it goes on to a 4 feet tall crystal at the right of the top. And that's your enlightened state.
Wow.
So there is a lot of symbolism that has
Beautiful.
gone
How
into
tall
it.
is this?
So this is 325 feet.
My God.
And the internal diameter is about 70 meters.
So this is a grand scale monument about our heritage. We have a lot of more recent monuments, Mughal time and all that. I'm not knocking anything down, but this is who we really are in terms of the ancient wisdom. And I would say Buddha was without doubt not only the most important scientist of all times in terms of understanding the human being entirely, but also India's greatest export.
Absolutely.
We're proud of India has exported lots of things. But in terms of the impact that happened and the future potential, this is without doubt the largest, greatest export India has done. Is this kind of meditative experience, path to enlightenment and so on. So this is a place that every one of you should come and visit.
Indeed. I mean, I invite every one of your viewers to come, and it will be a life-changing experience, I guarantee that.
This has existed for a few years, so you have different programs. It's open to the public?
It is open to the public. Guruji had mandated that we will never charge any entry fees, just as in for doing Vipassana we don't charge any fees to anybody, and so also this. When you come here, you will see a beautiful painting gallery which depicts the life of Buddha. You will get to take the sample of Vipassana, the first technique, all called Anapan. So we offer that to members of public who come, and it's a continuous program offered in Hindi and English. And a lot of those people who take an Anapan course follow it with a Vipassana course, and that's how their life changes.
Wow.
So it's quite an experiential place.
And I was discussing with somebody over breakfast, teacher training.
Yes.
You're doing teacher training here.
No, we don't do. So this place is not a teaching center.
Okay.
So this is only for old meditators to come and meditate here.
Okay.
We have a adjoining center where we teach Vipassana, and we also have a Vipassana Research Institute, which is also in the same precincts.
But in the same complex.
In the same complex.
In complex, you have. This is a campus with.
This is a
many
campus
things.
with many things. We don't do teacher training per se here,
Right.
but the Vipassana Research Institute does.
Yeah. So this is symbolically in architecture and aesthetics linked with Myanmar, because Myanmar is to be recognized as a place that has preserved the tradition for eons, because it didn't decline there. They were very loyal to it, and so now we can they can re-export it back to us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And even in Burma, I must clarify that there was only a slender chain of teacher-pupil tradition that preserved it in the purest form, that it is becoming so effective.
So these paramparas are very precious. We don't give them credit in history books and all that, but actually they've done humanity a big favor.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because if you lose this continuity of this knowledge, then who's to say when the next Buddha will come along and redo this whole thing for us?
Absolutely.
So this is remarkable. Now, so what we'll do is we're going to. I'll enjoy Bhanshaliji's personal tour inside. Cameras are not allowed, but we will have some footage which they have already. We will include it in the video, and then after that we'll sit under a very historic tree in a sense.
Yes.
And I'll also, to begin the discussion, when we go there, I'll also ask you what is the history of that, because what you told me is quite extraordinary. So you're in for a treat. We will resume our dialogue in a short while after this tour. We just had a phenomenal tour inside the pagoda. It is huge, and 10,000 people can sit there. The entire thing is made of stone. These stone hand carved, hand cut bricks use a traditional method of interlocking, and they explained to me the interlocking also, so that without joints, the stone itself is cut in such a way that there is no question of joints falling apart. And so the construction starts at the base and builds up like in a dome, and at the top there is a huge stone, 6 tons.
6 tons.
6 tons. Now, when when you're building a bridge from both sides, they better come exactly to the fraction of a millimeter and not be disconnected. Here, it's not 2 things, but so many of them have to come together, and they all have to interconnect perfectly. Otherwise, it will wobble, it will not be, so this is the traditional method that they used. And the floor came from Myanmar,
Yep.
teak wood, beautiful. And inside there is fresh air. So they have ventilation figured out. This is also, so this is an architectural marvel, it's a civil engineering marvel, it's a marvel that where you have to preserve the integrity of the traditional design, the whole spiritual dimension of how it has to look has been very carefully preserved, and it's the largest of its kind in the world.
Absolutely, sir.
So this is, I congratulate you for putting something of this sort together. This beats monuments I've seen all over the place. It should be a World Heritage, and it should be a place where one of the largest places to visit. Already you're exceeding 1 million visitors a year, and this will grow to something absolutely immense.
Absolutely, sir.
So what is the official name of this?
So we call this Global Vipassana Pagoda.
Okay, please remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
बहुत ही मजा आया.
Very good, sir.
I really enjoyed.
There's a connectivity right from the time of Buddha. So Goenkaji was offered lots of lands, some parcels which were several times larger than this. But he was looking for a place which had purity, which would have this kind of pure environment all around and yet not be very far. And then he was able to establish a connection through his capabilities, that there was a monk called Purna who was a pupil of Buddha.
That far back.
That far back, who came from this land, and this all got discovered by and by, and how the names of places change, how names of people change. And after his vibration, he discovered that there was a saint. Then the research team was able to make a connection, and where all this man had toured in his lifetime. And so now we can feel it. How did you feel inside the pagoda?
This is, you go inside and you want to sit and just be there and do nothing and just be in a meditative state. So when you come, you should prepare for this. Those of you who have not taken the course, you should take the course because you need to have taken it in order to come to the main area. They have a lot of programs. You can be at any level, you should come. And then when you are finally ready to go inside the meditation hall, this is an amazing experience. The outer view is beautiful aesthetically, to the senses also. The inner is an inner beauty. You feel very, very, very connected and happy that you're there. In fact, if we weren't pressured for time, I would probably want to spend some time here, and maybe in a trip I will love to do that.
Yeah, I think you should.
And even come for some of their very long 30-day, 45-day kind of things that you do. So this is remarkable. Now I want to move on to the next. We are here in a special occasion. Right. It's a beautiful garden, of course, but behind us is a extraordinary tree with a good history. So please tell us.
Sure. So this is a Bodhi tree, and so Bodhi tree is the tree under which Buddha got his enlightenment, and this is near Bodh Gaya, and the tree is still preserved. But the government has outlawed even touching of the tree. So in a place like this, with Buddha's relics enshrined here, we needed this symbol. So we took the help of Sri Lankan government. So Ashoka, the great king, he had offered the the branches of Bodhi tree to the surrounding countries or the neighboring countries. So we requested Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, they gave us a branch, this being a very special place, and we had the ambassador of Sri Lanka come here and do the plantation.
So from the original Bodhi tree, a branch that grew in Sri Lanka, and they've kept it going.
That's right.
The Sri Lankan people have kept it going continuously.
Continuously.
There was no disruption, no time when it was destroyed. and now from there you've got it back here.
Got it back here.
Amazing story.
So this is the granddaughter of the old tree.
This is a great whatever of the tree. Many generations, the same DNA. This is quite an extraordinary. It's important when you take so much care to do it right.
Absolutely. We have to preserve our heritage very carefully. Yes. Very carefully, sir.
So now in the car we were discussing, the meaning of all this is the inner journey, the inner world, the inner science. And one of the issues I had was this takes us in a direction away from consumerism, because one is satisfied with less. And so while the marketing, advertising is trying to sell me more and more, and world GDP growing means that consumerism, the level of consumer consumption has to grow. So the economy built on growth, stock market built on valuations, which are built on a presumption of growth, demand that require consumers must buy more, keep buying. If you built the ultimate iPhone and said this will last you your whole life, then the Apple won't have much business left, and the same is true of all kind of goods. So whereas this is kind of going out, taking the world in opposite direction. It seems that both revolutions are accelerating. The marketing world is making more money every year, every century making more money than the previous, and yet this kind of a revolution of the inner journey is also happening. So what do you think of this? Because I haven't sorted it out, and I just wanted to know what are your thoughts on this conflict, or what seems to be.
Sure. It's an obsession with me, as you probably saw in the car, to think about these things. And what I see is that what is queering the pitch further is the politics.
Yes.
The politics particularly of democracy, where it suits a politician to foment the desire even further. And the growth is such a glamorous world. So I think what we need to do is that forever we are going to have people with different disposition. There will be those who will be spiritually inclined and those who will not be. So the market will be here, but at least we must have a powerful force which identifies, just as you have disease and a drug, and they both coexist. Let the world will always exist, but we must have forces which identify some of these agencies like the marketing or the politics or the so-called democracy, which actually makes people unaware of the whole agenda underlying. And so I think to some extent we definitely need growth. We need growth from productivity. We need growth from better application, better distribution. So that also produces growth. So I think the world hopefully will discover that one day. In the meantime, with the extraordinary capability that you have and the following that you have, what I would request you is that start a movement of making people aware.
Yes.
That how this is contrary to happiness.
Yes.
How there is a deep agenda between the economists, between the academia, between the politicians, the media and so on, and that how the consumer is trapped by this.
A very important message. Consumerism can be a trap, and there's no better place than this to get inspired to think like that.
Absolutely.
Now another issue is that in the US and Western countries, they are doing a lot of research on Vipassana, they call it mindfulness, and they are doing scientific research. One of the favorite areas of research is to get monks who are able to produce very nice states of mind, states of consciousness, and measure them with functional MRI to see what does the brain pattern, the measurement, the brain scan look like inside. And then there are two branches of research. One is molecular intervention to produce similar states without the meditation. So the ultimate drug some pharmaceutical company would like to invent is something where you, with that little dose, you get the same feeling that the monk gets after decades of meditation. And this person doesn't have to meditate or do that tapasya, he just with that medicine does it. So this will be the ultimate drug, a lot of money to be made. And then one wonders, is that intervention, is that right, is there something wrong, can it be misused, can it get us into a state where we are not fully developed? Those people haven't done yam and niyam. I mean, they haven't done the ethics of yoga or vipassana or any system, and they just got this because they have the money, they can buy this drug. So it's not the whole person. And they may actually cause harm also, because maybe they'll just feel good and then they'll go out and do more harm because they don't have to worry about anything. The second scientific track is with chips. There are some major developments where they're not putting chemicals and molecules for creating that meditative effect, but they are studying the pattern of neurons. We don't understand exactly what the pattern is all about, but we can detect with big data we can figure out what this pattern is, and then and this pattern of neurons which generates when you feel happy seems to then create the effect in different parts of the brain. So the idea they are having is how to simulate the same pattern with some chip that you've implanted. So it will generate this pattern. We don't understand how it came about, what the pattern means, but we know, okay, with this kind of a look, this kind of a map of the neuron network, it produces a certain effect. So once that is done and perfected, then the idea would be for them to supply these chips that you can plant and you can program and you can feel okay, happy, and different things. Of course, this can be misused. Other people can control your mind. There could be irresponsible people who get into this escape mode. Whatever they've done, they push the right buttons or take the right molecules and they feel okay. So it seems that a traditional meditator would not like this. And yet it is unstoppable because of technology. So this is another area of my dilemma.
This is very interesting, and I think as Buddha's teaching, and particularly the Vipassana tradition, becomes more popular, people will recognize this, that what a being is, what an entity is.
Yes.
And so just as if I wear the costume of a king, I don't become the king. The costume is there only for a short period of time. So I can create a chip, I can take a chemical. This is no different from marijuana, LSD, meth, and so on, and all kinds of drugs which produce a temporary effect. So I can guarantee you that the entity is not only body, the entity is not only mind. The whole entity is mind-body combination working on each other, coexisting at the same time. And the recent book by Dr. Arun Shuri talks a lot about this. And so, for example, who is a brain-dead person? Science has changed its opinion several times in the last 100 years.
Yes.
That look, the brain doesn't seem to die, only our measurement fails.
Right.
And so that's what I'm referring to, that life itself has a brain element involved every bit. And therefore, all what the market happy man is wanting to do, or the material happy man wanting to do, or the flux unhappy who are not ready to recognize that the nature of universe, the nature of reality is a flux, they attempt all these things. So these are unstoppable. Even in time of Buddha, his own cousin wanted to establish his own order. So this desire for hegemony in my way, in my language, in my country, etc., etc., and then, aided by the businessman, the media man, etc., in some manner, I think it has gone on from times immemorial. We have a fast changing world, we have a larger impact making capability today. So it seems different, but I think it's just the magnitude. At the essence, it is Mother Nature which has a certain design. The Yam Niyam is not an Indian patented thing.
Right.
These are happiness formulae. These are real happiness formulae. Contentment gives peace to everybody. It doesn't matter whether he's an Indian, a practitioner, or a non-practitioner. So I think there is no getting away from Yam Niyam, etc. As I think understanding advances, we will recognize that, to deal with only body, to deal with only mind, to deal with temporary states is fooling the world. And fooling, for the fools, the world, for the businessman, the fools is a large market, and the world shall probably always be that. So I don't get puzzled and upset. I think the importance of the work of the people like you are doing is making people more and more aware. So at least even if we can save a small segment of society and make them aware of all these games that are being played, that I think is great service to humanity.
At least we keep some people who are going to be provoking others. The thought process continues.
Absolutely.
So we don't become sort of zombies accepting what's being given.
That's right.
We keep resisting, arguing, that sort of thing. We have to keep moving people into expanding their minds and thinking for themselves,
Yeah.
and not letting it happen to them.
Absolutely. And most importantly, how we conduct our lives.
Yes.
When people see that we are peaceful, we are intelligent, we are contented, and not irrelevant still,
Yes.
I think that is the biggest message to the people around, the lay people, so to
Yes,
say.
yes, that's very good. Another issue that comes up is Mother Nature, because you mentioned Mother Nature, the whole environment, because we have a growing population. And a population, there's a per capita consumption, even if they don't become consumerists and expand. With the growing population, we need fresh water, we need all kind of raw material. So we are sort of harvesting, mining Mother Earth beyond. There is no replenishment of all this. Maybe the solar energy will make energy very cheap and renewable, but then other raw materials, we are using up minerals, all sorts of things. So that also creates a problem. That creates because now there is in a traditional lifestyle, there is a certain per capita consumption, but the total number of population is very small. So they did not impose so much on the earth to kind of deplete it. But now it's I don't know what the scale of population was during Buddha's time, but I know that when British were giving independence, the whole South Asia was 300 million, so 1/5 of today.
Yeah.
1/5 the population of today,
Right.
just at the time of independence. So if you say in the time of Aurangzeb, from 300 million may have been 100 million, or during the Mughal time, 100 million. If you keep going back, maybe during Buddha's time it was like 5-10 million. It's possible that maybe 10-20 million people for the whole subcontinent. So we have grown like 100-fold. And we seem to be growing further. What do you think is the challenge and the risk of something cataclysmic, because we are overpopulated and we've affected the environment, global warming, all of those things? I mean, that's also a challenge.
It is. Again, I'll go back to, the path of Dhamma. The Dhamma means the rule of nature, understanding Mother Nature, how she functions at individual level and at collective level. So if on the population, I don't want to get into too much of an argument because I'm not an authority, but I do know from India's history that the kind of famines that devastated large portions of our population in different parts of the country, maybe the population was not as small as we think.
Yes.
So the good thing is that I think the modern technology is also reducing material intensity. So for example, when we do 3D printing, it is extremely material efficient, and we are inventing new materials by the day. Energy will become free, probably not only cheap. I think another 10-20 years, we will have abundant, it'll be virtually free. So just as you have a subscription, today you can download an app which is free and the money is made somewhere else. So we are going to get to that situation. I think our ability to support a large population exists in our human approach, because we have such lopsided consumption. The marketing companies and the growth mavens, so to say, they tell, if US consumes 50 kgs of plastic per capita, every country must consume 50 kgs of plastic.
It almost becomes a benchmark of how well you're doing.
And how wasteful the US,
Yes.
as a society is, that has to be tackled. So the path of Dhamma is liberating in every which way, is that you become self-aware. You do not need an external parameter to tell you how happy or unhappy you are.
Right.
The moment you have ceded control to somebody else, you will be taken in many, many ways. And the moment you start taking that control back, this is what the whole symbolism here is, that you
Yes.
invert the bowl on the world.
Right.
No more the world can seize you,
Right.
paralyze you.
Right.
So I think this is the way that the world, indeed, I think in the next 50 years, I think that at least 100 times more people, or maybe 1,000 times more people will be doing Vipassana and really getting an insight as to how we live and how
Yes.
Mother Nature works.
Yes. And it's not just withdrawing from the control of authority, but also social pressure. There's a lot of that.
Absolutely.
A lot of behavior is driven by, I need this because my friends have it, and what will they think if I don't have this or that? A lot of behavior is driven just by peer pressure.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
when the world is not just, it's not a question of blaming the people in the government or some people like that. It's also each other. We have to have the courage to say, I live the right life, and that's the right life for me.
Absolutely.
And others have to, if they don't like me and all that, that's okay. I mean, I'm sure Buddha and many others, what they did wasn't necessarily approved of, and we know that it wasn't approved of by the peer pressure.
Yeah,
But they did it anyway.
And that's right, that's right.
So
So the mother will always, nature will always have diversity. Nature will never allow anybody to, have hegemony. And so people like Buddha do not want hegemony, they have compassion.
Yes.
So I think this whole human approach in all our issues, and two sides to human approach. One is that you become a superhuman first, you take control, as people like you have, I mean, you had no reason to give up business in the, your heyday, but you did. Or I took a withdrawal from my business life to do other things. I think as more and more of that happens, one thing will be that we will see the truth. The second will be, instead of the usually hegemonistic approach, the war, the crusades and so on, to impose your view on others, instead of that we will have a compassionate view about the
Wonderful.
world. So I think in this twin approach of self-evolution and compassion for the world, we can find solutions to all problems.
On this message, I want to conclude and thank you.
Thank
so
you
much.
very much for visiting
This is inspiring for me, because he invited me, and this has been a remarkable morning here in Mumbai, one of the best during my trip, and I'm really excited about it, and I want to share with you, and you should also come and enjoy this for yourself. And thank you for
very much.
putting all this together, sharing it with me.
This is our Gurujis Vision, and a lot of us. It took us 11 years to execute this, and a lot of difficulties. It was a superhuman effort, and only our teacher could have put it together.
And with that, namaste to all of you. We'll be back.